All right. In this video, though, I am going to share with you some news that just actually was published around 4 days ago. And this is what we're going to be talking about: the 9 ways Etsy plans to help sellers get more buyers. And this came out, and I was really excited about it because there's a lot of cool things that they are doing. Now, there's actually 10 that they came out with, but there's 9 that I'm excited about. The other one, it might be for some, but it's not going to really be for a lot of sellers. But it is cool that they're doing that. And I did want to say this, like, there's a lot of cool things that Etsy is doing to really help the shops and the sellers. And I just kind of wanted to go through all of this stuff. I've invited on a few of my friends and colleagues here, Debbie and Chris. Debbie is a 6-figure Etsy seller. She's the one that got my wife into selling on Etsy. And if you guys watched the video of me walking through how I was going to help my wife grow her Etsy business to over 6 figures, you should probably watch that. And I will link everything up in the description so you guys can do that. But let's get into it. I really do want to just kind of dive in here so we can get into this. So October 27th, 2022 was the official announcement. Now, this was announced inside of your seller dashboard. So if you were in your dashboard, which I encourage everyone to do, like, spend a little bit of time in there, you will find things in there that will help you. There are tools that are in there, but also things like this where they publish something and then they're going to let you know because they want you to do good. They want you to sell more products. That's what it's all about for them. They want you to sell products so you become successful and you help their community. That's what they want. So this guy here, Nick Daniel, I've never met the guy, but I guess he's the big guy. He's the guy that's kind of making all of these decisions. And he came out with this. And this was like something that was published so all of the sellers could get access to it. Now, I'm not going to read his whole thing, but he's the chief product officer. And I guess he's been at their facility and kind of working with them since 2014. All right. But I'm not going to read all of this because that's not important. What's important is there's 2 different things that they're doing. They're having improvements in features designed to help bring shoppers to Etsy and help them discover your amazing products. That's the one statement. The second one is changes that help shoppers feel more confident making a purchase on Etsy, which is a huge deal. A lot of people are like, well, why is that such a big deal? Because if we can make that shopper feel more comfortable about buying and trust the people that they're buying from, the conversions are going to go up. If the conversions go up, you win, they win, everyone wins. So there's one thing that they're doing in there, which I am really excited about. And I'm going to share that. I think it's like 8 or 9 on the tips list, but that one there surprised me. It actually shocked me that they're actually doing this, which is pretty crazy, but it shows the commitment that they have to their sellers. And the one thing I do notice about these guys, about Etsy versus Amazon, it does seem like Etsy wants to help their sellers. And I know Amazon says they do, but I mean, Debbie and I and Chris, we've all sold on Amazon. Our last business was built off of Amazon. And we've seen that side of it. And we've seen the Etsy side now, and Debbie especially. But yeah, it's really something that I think we need to understand, that Etsy does seem as though they are trying to really, really help. Debbie, before we go on any further, let me ask you, since you've been selling on Etsy, and again, if you guys are just tuning in, like, Debbie's a 6-figure seller. She's been at this a while. She's built out a really nice shop. So I just want to let you know that, she knows what she's talking about here. So what do you see when you first hear this, or you being on the platform and having the experience with Etsy? What's your thoughts on like how they're serving the sellers?
Well, I definitely think, a lot of sellers, often talk about the, Etsy fees going up and this going up. But what Etsy is doing, I think, for sellers is taking a small percent of their fees and they're putting it back into the community. Because when we do well, they do well. So if, they have to invest a little bit more money, then it's worth it. And especially at Q4, because that's when, most of us make the majority of our sales and business. So I think it's great.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you. I mean, you and I think a lot alike. I mean, we were in business together for several years. So, I just think that when we have these opportunities, we definitely want to take advantage of them. And that's what we're doing here today, guys. Just trying to share it with you guys so you guys can benefit and hopefully use some of these to your advantage, and also feel confident that the platform is really trying to help you. Which I think is always like, you're not sure, like, are they really trying to help us? And in this case, I really do believe that they are. So let's move on. So number one, okay, this is a big one, guys. This is really, really exciting. The more that I dive into the Etsy kind of like marketing engine, I really get excited. So this is what they say. This is directly from them. This is from that report. What we're doing to help bring buyers to Etsy and keep them coming back. Keep them coming back. So right there, it says inspire shoppers to come back to Etsy through updates. Now, this is really important. I want you to pay attention to this. Running a sale. Okay, you can run a sale. We've done it. Debbie, you've done it. Like they work, right? You run a sale and you get some exposure and people come to your shop. They see it. Great, right? Send a coupon thanking them in their abandoned carts, or a thank you email recently favorited. Like those are great. Adding new items. It's great too, right? You see something new, Etsy gives us a little bit of love because it's kind of like a new item. And then when you restock items, it'll say, oh, we're back in stock. So there's ways that they're going to be able to let other or customers, past customers or new customers know about this. But the buyer's feed, that's the one thing that got me excited, because when you run a sale, guess what? If people have favorited that item, they're going to get a notification in their little feed that says, hey, just want to let you know an item you favorited is now on sale. Like literally that is going to happen. So not just with an email, getting an email that you didn't subscribe to or whatever, you're going to get a notification because you favorited it. You raised your hand on that product. So let that just sink in. Guys, I want you to in the comments, if you're watching this on the replay, if you're here live, is that cool or what? Like to be able to have Etsy push a notification, by the way, that is sent there in that feed. Okay, in that feed, that you don't have to really do anything other than create the sale, create a coupon, right? Do something active inside of that account. Debbie, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, I was just going to say, in reference to like from the day one that I opened up my shop, I did send up or, set up the coupon codes for abandoned carts, thank yous, and purchases. And yesterday I dove in and I noticed from setting those up, it brought in $22,000 more into my sales
Yeah,
just
that's
from those
insane.
coupons.
Yeah. And so the one thing that I would say too, Debbie, and this is something we're going to be experimenting with, is like some of those coupons that you've been running have been running for a very long time. But what if we didn't run it for a long time and we kind of did them in batches to where then it might trigger a new update? You see what I'm saying? Like if you had one that's running for 6 months, someone that just favorited it might not get that. They might get the favorited one that you have in your email. But maybe if you stopped it and started it again, it's fresh. And now all of a sudden people might get that in their notification. It's just a thought. I don't know if it'll
It
work.
is, but I think they go back.
The abandoned carts, they do.
Yes.
The abandoned carts, they do. I just did that
Yes.
for Lisa's, and it said like there's a checkbox that says, do you want it to go back to 90 days worth of abandoned carts? So that was
Does that
cool.
go back with the coupons too for like someone
it's with anything. When you do set up a coupon, I believe that it will go back to when, for like 90 days, which is pretty
days.
cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So, okay, guys, buyer's feed. Okay. I got to keep moving here because we got like 8 more, actually 9, but 8 that I care about. This one here is big. And I really just want you guys to understand that when you're creating a sale, a coupon, add a new item, restocking things, those are opportunities for you to show up in someone's feed that had already visited your shop or that showed interest in your shop, even by just favoriting it. So really, really powerful on that. All right, moving along. Chris, I know that you're in the chat. Chris is going to be manning the chat and all that stuff. And I can see that it's really picking up some steam here. Is there anything that we needed to touch on there before I move on?
No, I think the thing that everybody's excited about is just that Etsy's giving us some free extra marketing opportunities, right? And that's how I'm looking at this. If you're not making kind of the cardinal mistake of just being an everything store, then this is something that you can really take advantage of, right? If there's not a reason for somebody to come back to your shop ever again, because either you have one product, right, or you sell everything under the sun, just whatever design to whatever customer, right? This stuff becomes a little bit more complicated. But if you are niched down, this is the type of stuff that is going to generate you a ton of new sales. And I think it was Ola Little One said, this is awesome free marketing. And it's not just free marketing, right? It's hyper targeted marketing to people who have already bought from you, right? Or people who have bought similar products, people who abandoned carts in the past. So they at least are aware of who you are. And those are the type of people who are the most likely to buy from you again in the future. So there's no reason not to take advantage of this kind of stuff. And I love that people are able to do that now inside of the Etsy platform.
Yeah.
And can I just say it is absolutely true. In the last probably 2-3 weeks, I have noticed customers that bought something a year and a half ago, they did come back and they're adding 6-7 things to their cart because, for one, they remembered my shop. I'm still in the same niche. It's not, a general store. So they remembered me. They're like, oh yeah, I remember I bought something and I really liked it. So they did come back. So that's cool.
Yeah, no, it really is. And I would say one little side tip here. And again, like, I don't want to go off on too many tangents here because I want to keep this tight. But if you guys are not really focusing on a particular niche, or as Debbie said, niche. Debbie, I thought we were going to call it niche. You just changed it up again. Now it's niche. Like, guys, we don't know what it is.
Tomatoes,
niche. I
tomatoes.
think it's niche. I'm going to go with niche.
People get the gist.
All right. All right. So, but I would say definitely by you catering to a specific niche, you are going to have return customers if you have a really good store and you are catering to that one niche. So it's really, really important. And that's what we want to do here, right? Like, not just have a one-off product. We want someone to go like, oh, that was cool. Now I'm going to add 2 more things, or I'm going to come back when it's, next year, and I'm going to maybe get some gifts for people that are into, like, that's how it works. And it's really, really powerful stuff. So I love this. All right, next, moving on. Oh, I wanted to give this. So I did this as a test. And okay, so these numbers aren't crazy, right? But this is over like, it was 6 days I ran it, but it hasn't even ended yet. The time that I'm doing this is before November 1st. But I did this because one of my private clients, who also is she has a 6-figure Etsy store, but that's not her main thing. That's just, she just did it to throw it up there to bolt it onto her existing business. She does about $2 million a year. And she basically said, I've never really promoted my sales. I've just kind of put them out there and that was it. And I'll do them for like 6 to 10 days. And I was looking through some of hers, and some of hers did anywhere from, $500 all the way up to like $5-6 grand. And I was like, holy crap. And I'm like, so maybe what Etsy's doing is they're also featuring you in certain sale areas. And she's like, yeah, I think they do. I don't have proof of it, but I think they do. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to test this. Mm-hmm. So I whipped up a quick little promo. You can see it says test 10 because it was for October, and it was 10% off. That's all I did. And we got 11 sales at $466.51. So I was like, okay, I'll try it. And it still isn't even over with yet. So guys, do it, test it, see what happens. I love it.
Right. All right. And the test is free. So
free. Doesn't cost you anything, right?
That's right.
So here's my question for anyone that's here right now, or even watching this later, video, replay, whatever. Have you ran any sales yet? And if yes, leave a comment and let us know how it went. Drop that in the comments, guys. Do that for us. We want to see this, and we want you to inspire other people, especially if you've had some success. So definitely do that for us, okay? All right, number 2, moving on. Encouraging shoppers to download the Etsy app. This one here is also big. And I'll just read this first part. Our internal research shows that shoppers who use the Etsy app tend to visit Etsy and make more purchases more frequently. Okay. And they go on to say that's why we've been focusing on making the app a more seamless shopping and browsing experience for buyers. We've also been marketing and promoting the app to encourage more shoppers to download the app to help them come back to Etsy again and again. In 2021 alone, they saw a 45% increase in app downloads, driving 5.7 million new shoppers to download the app. That's huge, guys. This is a conversion thing here. This is where it's easy. It's on their phone. They don't have to go sit down at the computer. And I mean, I would have thought everyone had it on their app, but obviously not. So they're putting a lot of effort and time into making people have the app on their phone. So this way here, it becomes easier. And then those push notifications and then all of that marketing that they're doing is there as well. Debbie, what do you think about this?
I think it's cool because I was just thinking, oftentimes you'll go someplace and, maybe have on a cool t-shirt and someone will say, oh my gosh, where did you get that t-shirt? Oh, I got it on Etsy. You can pull up the app and then, show this is the shop and send them the link. So yeah, I mean, it's like one-stop shopping on your phone, just as simple.
Yeah, no, I absolutely, I absolutely love that. That's awesome. So is there anything you have to do here? No, but this is cool, right? Like this is like showing that they're vesting interest in their own platform. So this way here, it gets on more people's devices. So it brings more customers to us, right? That's the thing. Chris, you want to say something on that?
Yeah, really quick. Two things. One, from a seller perspective, if you don't have the Etsy customer app, download it right now, especially if you're doing anything with seasonal products. One of the things that they've started to roll out, Scott, for things that are really hot right now, and I noticed this the other day on some of the Phillies t-shirts that I had been looking at. Sorry, I don't mean to rub that in, but they actually were showing the sales volume in the last 24 hours. So it said not only, this item has been added to however many carts, but this item sold 50 in the last 24 hours or whatever. Now, it's not showing that on every product, but if you're doing some product research, it's at least worth having the app for that purpose as a seller. From a buyer perspective, and something we need to keep in mind, we need to make sure that our listings look good on mobile, right? And that they look good inside of the app. And what looks good there might not necessarily be the same thing that looks good on the website. And two, this is going to massively increase conversions. Why? Because it eliminates any friction at the checkout. Right. And when I say friction at the checkout, I mean people literally having to pull out their credit card. Right. On iOS, on Android devices, they are going to be integrated with Apple Pay, Android Pay, right? Whatever credit card you have stored on your device. And so it's going to massively ramp up the number of people that are purchasing on those devices, especially when you combine that with announcement number one, right? The push notification type of stuff, because they're more likely to get that on their mobile device if they have the app. Then it's kind of like a one-click purchase at that point versus having to pull out their credit card, type in all their info. It's already going to be filled in inside of the app, and the credit card is going to be right there, kind of at the click of a button. And so
it's already in the system.
Massively start to ramp this up. Exactly.
Can I just say though, nobody should be selling Philly stuff on Etsy.
It's true. It's true. I mean, Debbie's big on this. Like a lot of times people will be, selling trademarked and copyrighted stuff.
Infringing.
So, yeah. You don't want to do that.
No.
That's a whole nother episode.
That's
we'll
a whole
probably
nother
do.
Episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were all like Phillies related sayings types of t-shirts, right? So like we're talking about the fightins and some of those kinds of things that are like memes for Phillies people.
Like a saying that
do not sell
they
trademark
say,
things.
But wouldn't necessarily be trademarked.
No.
Okay, let's move on here. All right, so that's number 2, right? So they're encouraging shoppers to download the Etsy app, which is great for us. Not much we have to do other than just keep doing what we're doing and do a good job at it. Like that's really what we got to do there. All right, so my question again for you guys is, do you currently use the Etsy app or do you use desktop? What do you primarily use yourself? I'm just curious. Drop that in the comments. I'd like to see that too. We'll do a little tally later maybe. All right, so number 3. Bringing shoppers back with compelling emails. Okay. Now, this isn't your own emails. This is Etsy's. We're not going to talk about external email list building and all that stuff on this one. I've done other ones and on the channel, on the YouTube channel, which you should subscribe, by the way, if you haven't done so already. We've got more coming down the line on that stuff as well. But what we're talking about is them doing the email marketing. But let me just read this part here. We've been working to make our buyer emails and push notifications even more personalized so they reach shoppers at the right moment in their shopping journey. So they're basically doing a lot of advanced stuff on the back end for us that we don't even have to do. Now, if you've ever used like services like Klaviyo, I don't know, Chris, what's another one that's, is it Marketo or any, like the big ones, right? Like the big ones, they're expensive, they're hard to figure out, all that stuff. They're kind of doing that for you. All right. Behind the scenes, they're like able to see like how far did they get into the buying process? How can they follow up to try to get them over that hurdle of buying, right? So that's the big thing there. And then so here it also says these emails are sent when buyers receive a special offer or coupon from a shop they've recently favorited or browsed. You can start sending these types of discounts yourself, and you can set that up for your targeted offers. Now, it's something that they've been doing in the past, but it sounds like they're going to dial that up a little bit, which is pretty exciting. And then they also say here, in addition to emails about discounts and sales, we also personalize the emails buyers receive to include listings they've recently viewed and products they've searched for in the past to ensure our marketing is super relevant. So that's really important and I think the thing is here to really take away from this is it's really relevant and it's timely, right? And they're able to follow up instantly when they see that someone is just about there, and they're just going to go ahead and give them a little bit of extra, an extra push, if you will, but in a gentle way. Debbie, what do you think of
I
this
think
here?
that's unbelievable. I mean, for them to take the time to do that, especially again, Q4 is coming. A lot of people are browsing, shopping, liking, adding to their carts. If Etsy is taking the time to try to drive home the sale through email marketing for us, I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it's huge.
Yeah.
I'm a big email guy. You know that. I mean, heck, our last business, we were built off of that. And I've, you've heard me long enough to say, I get it. And I see it.
I do.
Look, when you're sending emails and getting, like thousands of people to actually click and go over and see your stuff, it's like, whoa, okay, that's pretty cool.
And, speaking from a consumer myself, sometimes that, I might get 10 emails a day. Well, not a day, but let's say every day from the same business, and I'm still on their list. It could be that last one, and I'm like, you know what? I've been eyeing that up. I'm just going to go buy it. And It's effective.
I'm guilty of that. I've done it.
Me too.
I've done it. And I'm like, you know what? Darn it. I got to do it. That's right.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah.
It's like they've convinced you. You just have to have it.
That's it. Yeah. All right, cool. So that's number 3. Okay. They're actually bringing shoppers back with compelling emails. Have you set up your emails yet? The internal ones inside of Etsy. If you haven't, you should do so, but let us know in the comments if you have set those up or which ones you've set up. All right. Number 4, creating new ways for shoppers to discover unique finds. We recently introduced Explore, a feed of seller-created videos that Etsy buyers can browse and shop in the Etsy app. Do you see how this is working now? They have a new feed. It's called Explore. And that feed, where is that feed primarily? In the app. So they're trying to get people to use the app. When they get people in the app, they get to use the things like this, the Explore feature, right? And so for a seller to create a video and be able to show either the product or maybe behind the scenes of how it's being manufactured, depending on what you're doing, right? Like however you can show personality, but then also like you're a real person, like type of stuff, man, take advantage of that. But this here is a great opportunity because again, they're having it be an Explore feed. It's a feed that they're going to be updating. And I'm just going to read this here. Explore is currently available for sellers in the United States with iOS devices as we test out this new feature. So this is a brand new feature, guys. All right. And if you don't have access to it yet, don't worry. We plan to expand access to more countries and Android in the future. So they're just rolling it out now. This is fresh. All right. And again, I put a little note there, more ways to be found. Just another way for you to be found. Debbie, love your thoughts on this one.
Okay, well, what I was thinking is, because I am a print on demand shop. So when I saw this feature, I thought, well, how, because, I create the designs, but, I'm not sitting there sewing. However, if I, let's say have a pillow and a blanket or, I can show like the quality of it, the touch and feel of it, and show it in the room how I decorated it or used it. So I could do a video like that.
100%.
Yeah.
Like you holding your product that you designed, you created, and then
Right.
you're showing the quality, and like you're like, basically you could have picked a ton of different suppliers. You picked this one company because they have the best quality for my designs, and then you show it up close. You show the size
Right.
of it. If
Right.
it's a blanket, I'm thinking of
Yes.
a blanket, right? Or
Mhm.
something like that.
Right.
It could be a sweatshirt if that's what you're selling, but
Exactly.
I totally agree with you. And
Yeah.
again, like, why not
Right.
do something like this? Now, you're
So
not going to do this on
that's on
every
my
product.
to-do list this week. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
but you're not
try.
going to do that on every product, right?
No, no.
Right. You're going to do
Just,
it on
maybe on a holiday pillow or something. And,
exactly.
you know,
And here's the other thing I really want to I want to highlight here is like, I guarantee that a lot of people are not going to do this. So what does that do? That opens up opportunity for the ones that do. And
Right.
then that explore feed, guess what? There's less competition in that feed. And you
exactly.
get featured in that.
Right.
So I really, really like that. And I think it's great.
Now,
Okay.
I wonder, I'm assuming that you'll be able to link to the product through the video.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that it's either that or it's probably going to be some type of link that they're going to do that go over to the shop, I'm assuming, but I would think it would be
Right.
product.
Okay.
It would probably be product. So
Yeah.
again, we'll have to do it and
Yeah.
see for ourselves. But yeah, I mean, like, why not use that
Why not?
feature? I think that's
That's
great.
right.
Inside of like when you're uploading that video, it does allow you to link to a specific product, a specific listing.
Nice.
So
Okay.
you should have that capability. I think it's after you actually upload the video, it's in the description section. It will ask which product you want to link to or which listing you
Okay.
want to link to.
Cool.
Yeah, we're definitely going to check that out. Okay, so that was number 4. Okay, that's creating new ways for shoppers to discover unique finds, and it's that explore feed that they're going to be having for videos. So I think that's really, really cool. All right, the next one. Now this one here, I put cool, but most shops won't benefit from this. Building buzz with creator collabs, right? Like, let's just read this first part. Creator collabs connect Etsy shop owners with celebrities and brands like interior designer Amber Lewis and influencer Amy Song to co-create exclusive limited editions or items together. So basically it's more for like bigger brands or brand names. And then like for you and I, probably not going to use this, but it's cool that they're doing it. No, I'm not saying it's not cool. It's just, are we going to use that? Am I going to be able to use this tomorrow? No. Can I use the explore feed feature that we just talked about tomorrow? Absolutely. Create a video, go ahead, get that linked up. We're off to the races. This here, it's cool, but it's not something. So I didn't even include this in my 9, guys. This was the 10, there's 10. I just discarded this one. I just wanted to still share it with you because it was in that report. Any thoughts on that, Deb? I mean, do we even need to spend time?
It didn't resonate with me at all.
Right.
Same. Just didn't resonate.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So.
All right, let's move on. Number 4, giving buyers discounts and incentives to explore more of Etsy. This one's really, really cool as well. So Etsy invests in promotions and discounts on your behalf to increase traffic to the site and appeal to new buyers. So guys, listen, they're bringing attention for us and pretty much on their dime. All right. So Etsy funded discounts. We send offers to Etsy buyers, giving them a discount on their next purchase. These discounts are fully funded by Etsy at no additional cost to you. Wait a minute. What? Debbie, what?
I know. When I read that, I was like, that's incredible. So they'll give my customer maybe 20% off and it's not costing me anything. I assume they can't use it with other discounts. It's just exclusive through Etsy. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I've never heard of
No.
of this.
No.
And this seems like it's new. And I'm pretty sure it is. Chris, your thoughts on this quick? Did we lose Chris?
Cool. I mean, no, sorry, I'm responding to somebody in the chat. There's a lot of interesting things that are coming out of this, and this to me is one of them. And I know this has been a program that's been around. I think they said last year they gave like 18 million Etsy shoppers a discount, but they're doing it in a really nice way. They're doing it, and the thing out of this, Scott, that I really liked was the sweepstakes side of this, which is basically, they're trying to get people to be more interactive with the shop's on Etsy, right? And they said, I think shoppers will be entered to win when they follow at least 5 shops, meaning they're going to be signing up for your feed. And so again, this to me is amplifying the other things that they've already talked about, right? If you have somebody following you, following your shop, they're going to get a notification, especially like if you're posting in the Explore feed, they're going to get to start to see some of those discounts, some of those sales, some of those kinds of things without us having to do extra work or bend over backwards. And yet again, we're seeing the people who are building the foundation to sell to the same customer, right? To sell multiple items to the same customer and not selling, grandma, world's best grandma t-shirts and, I'll never have children t-shirts or whatever it is, right? Like diametrically opposed groups of people. If they're selling more than one thing to the same person, this is really where you're going to benefit. And everything in this announcement so far is pushing sellers in that direction, which is where you should be focused anyway, in our minds. But I think this is a really cool way of kind of doubling and tripling down on that. They're going to be trying to what am I trying to say? They're going to try to give sellers on Etsy more reach and kind of have their own little social network inside of Etsy so that we can reach out directly to the buyers who are interested in our stuff. This is really, really cool.
Yeah. And again, I'm going to read through this a little bit more because I think it's worth doing. So yeah, the Etsy funded discount. So they fund them. We don't have to worry about that. That's something else that they're doing. And you were right, Chris, 18 million Etsy shoppers were sent that in 2021. Okay. So that's pretty awesome. All right. And the sweepstakes thing is really interesting. So following a shop lets buyers receive updates from that business in the updates feed. More details above. So obviously they talk about that in, further up in the article. This year, we'll encourage buyers to follow more shops by running sweepstakes. Shoppers will be entered to win a $1,000 Etsy gift card provided by Etsy when they follow at least 5 shops. Taking the actions outlined above will send an update to buyers who follow you. So I was always noticing that, like my wife's shop, like you always see notifications when like people are favoriting, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's cool. Like they bookmarked it, they saved it, they favorited it. Cool, that's cool. I got a coupon code that'll get sent out to them. All right, great. But this is something extra, right? Like, so now it's like, oh, wait a minute. There's actually a little bit more power here than I had thought, and they're going to actually use that and encourage people to favorite. And what that does is it gets them to raise their hand. I say them, a customer, and then you can actually target those people a little bit more with more of your discounts. And actually Etsy can actually do some more of their own funded discounts, which I think is really, really powerful. So this is a big one. I really, really love that one. Okay. So number 5, moving along, building excitement with sales events. Okay. Etsy's seasonal sales events, think Labor Day and Cyber Week. Cyber Week's coming up, depending on when you're watching this. Get shoppers excited to discover deals on Etsy. There are also opportunities for you to stand out. Participating in Etsy sales events increases your likelihood of being featured in Etsy's marketing. Sellers featured in Etsy's holiday marketing last year saw an average increase of 35% in their shop sales year over year. That means that if Etsy features you, it could help your shop sales, of course. So, Debbie, what do you think on this here with the Cyber Week sale thing coming up? And I mean, everyone can pretty much be somewhat included, but I think you have to run a discount of at least 20%. At least I think that's what I read.
That's what they suggest. It's kind of like, Etsy suggests free shipping. You don't have to do that. You can pick whatever percent you want. I did sign up for it and I did 15%. But with that said, all Etsy sellers make sure that you are priced accordingly, that you're not going to lose, and that you do make some profit. Obviously you're going to see a lot of increase in sales, so that will definitely offset it, but you don't want to lose or break even either, because then it wasn't worth it to you. So price accordingly. You can do whatever discount you feel that you can afford to do. But I did 15%. So
yeah. So my thought though is my question is on this, and I don't know the answer. Maybe you do. Is so if you're already running sales in your shop and then this is there, is that on top of that, or do they just pick the one that's the highest?
They're going to pick this one. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah, if you sign up for this, I think it will trump what you already have going on. But I'm
Okay.
not sure. That's a
Yeah.
good question.
And the other thing is they did say that when you do this, it has to be for your entire shop.
Yes, that
It
is
has to be
correct.
for your entire shop. So
Mhm.
again, it's an opportunity, but it's also like you got to make sure your margins are there. Right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
definitely something to think about. It sounds really great. It's kind of like the Amazon days of like lightning deals or, any of that stuff. So it's
Right.
very similar. So try it out, like Debbie said, maybe 15%, 10%, even if you want. I mean, it wouldn't hurt. Right.
No.
And give it a shot. But again, they are looking to build more of this excitement, kind of like Prime has done, like Prime
Mhm.
Days, right? It's the
Yes.
same idea. And they're trying to make those things really, really with a lot of buzz around them and really get people excited about them because they know that they only come around a few times a year. So I really like that. Chris, you had something to say?
Yeah, we had a few people asking, how do they pick the shops that they're boosting?
How are they picking their shops? That's a great question. I don't think we know the answer to that. I would assume that they're probably looking at, again, this is just assumption. I'm probably thinking along the lines of like, they're going to go after like what has done well in the past, what types of niches have done well in the past, what type of trends are happening right now. They're probably going to start doing that. They probably will even test it and rotate it and see what really starts to get some attention and then
Right.
probably build it up. But it's like we've always said, Chris, sales are going to trump everything. So that's going to be the key indicator for Etsy. They may test it for an hour. And then if they don't get the results on the conversion side of it, they're going to throttle it back.
Right.
So I don't think there's an exact answer to that.
Yeah. Can I also mention too that on Facebook, Etsy has a huge Facebook page and they will feature shops and it's kind of like in a slide category. And last year they did that to me. I didn't know where the sales were coming from. I'm like, who keeps buying this one item? Well, it was because Etsy put me in that little slide. And that was free. It didn't cost me anything. So they do pick certain things, especially per holiday.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And what they're really doubling down on is as long as you meet the criteria for the sale, right? And it should always show you in your seller dashboard what it is. You can even if the sale's already running, you can still technically participate, right? And all you have to do is set up whatever the discount is that qualifies for that particular sale. And the details will vary from sale to sale, right? Sometimes it'll be 10, 15, 20. Sometimes it'll be, store wide, like you were talking about, Scott. But as long as you meet that, what Etsy is doing more and more of, and I talked about this when we were talking about the app download and when we just mentioned the social feed stuff, right? They're going to be using really cool marketing automation stuff in the background, right? The stuff that like Facebook got hauled in front of Congress for, because they know what people are doing on the platform. They know the products that they're interested in. So the featured shops that you see are not going to be the same featured shops that I see inside of that tab because our behavior is different. The products that we're purchasing on Etsy are different. So the only thing that you can really do is one, make sure you have products that sell, right? And two, just make sure that you're running a discount or a sale or whatever it is to meet the criteria of the site-wide promotion. And what you're going to start to see is you're going to show up probably first in front of your fans and followers inside of the Etsy platform. Mm-hmm. Like they were talking about the sweepstakes section, right? Everybody that's coming onto Etsy, they're going to encourage to follow 5 or more shops, all of those kinds of things. Those are going to be the people that see it probably first. Then if that does okay, they'll expand that out to people who look like those people. And then if you do a really good job, then they might just start testing it with everyone on Etsy. But to get started, you just have to make sure you're running whatever the discount or promotion is that meets the criteria.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And I would just say that it's one of those things, right? It's like, we can show up in these areas as long as we play along, right? So it's like create a sale, right? Like step 1, right? If it's Cyber Week, follow that criteria for that week and get involved. And you never know. It could happen where you're going to get featured. So yeah, I really, really like that. Guys, this would be the time that I would ask you, if you guys are getting value from this, can you do me a favor and go ahead and just smash that like button real quick? And that way there, it'll help us spread this a little bit further to some other Etsy shop owners out there. We'd really like that. Give us a like on only if you've gotten value so far. That's all. just if you've gotten value. All right. So did you set up your cyber sale yet? Drop that in the comments. All right. Drop that in the comments. Let us know if you are going to be playing this year in the cyber sale that Etsy is doing. Let us know. Drop that in there. All right. Number 6. Guys, we still got 3 more too, by the way. So number 6, showing buyers the impact they have when they shop on Etsy. Now, this one here, people would be like, oh, that's cool, I guess. Like, I don't see how that directly helps me get sales. But guys, here's the deal. Making an impact and showing, like, businesses that have a cause associated to it, they do really well because they're giving back to a cause that someone else is really into, right? It's like if you sell biodegradable items or items that are made with non-plastics and then you support that cause, you're probably going to see an increase in conversions because people want to also buy from people that have a cause behind it. All right. Now, I'm not saying make up a cause, but if you have something that has a cause, they are definitely getting behind that. And you can see it right here. It says, for the past year, we've been working on ways to show Etsy shoppers how purchases they make help support small businesses and the planet. All right. So they have something there they're calling Your Impact. So it's something that they're going to be launching. It's going to remind the shoppers that Etsy offsets 100% of the carbon emissions from shipping and packaging and orders and all of those things. So they're going to be also letting them know, like, Etsy's the place you want to buy because we're natural and we're, like, you know, organic and like all of these things, right? So that's what they're doing. So it's pretty cool. And you can see that little logo there. I'm sure that that'll be featured and then people will start to understand what that means, but they're putting time and energy. So this way here, the people that want to have this can use it. And actually in my wife's brand, I think I can use it. There is actually a cause that is associated, that could be associated with, that does mean a lot to us, that we will probably do that. And maybe we donate a portion of every sale to that, which I think would be really cool. And then we would be able to use this feature, or at least show it. So this isn't really a direct thing. It's more of when someone comes there, they're going to trust you more, but also feel good about their purchase because it's going to something else other than just in your pocket. And that will help increase sales and your conversions. So I really like that. Chris, you wanted to say something. I saw you got a little thought there.
Oh, I'm thinking through this. And to me, if you meet any of these requirements, and they have a bunch of things, like recycled glass, recycled paper, recycled metal, right? Vegan, upcycled, reusable, plastic free, organic cotton, linen, hemp, FSC certified wood, organic, vegan, Leaping Bunny certified, right? I have a feeling that this is going to become more and more prominent inside of things like the search results, right? And so if you meet any of the criteria for any of these, double down, take the 10 minutes or 2 hours, depending on how many listings you have, to go through each of them, because they're going to start showcasing this more and more. And that's going to be one more thing that will allow you to stand out inside of the organic search results in Etsy. And if you can get that click, then you can get that sale.
Yep. Debbie, you have any thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, actually, when I first saw this, I didn't think it pertained to me because, again, I'm in print and demand. But there's actually a lot of products that I do sell that are, vegan free, like the faux leather and the faux, that because some don't want to buy real leather. So this does actually pertain to me. And I've been going through my listings and filling in those attributes because you never know, I might get, pushed further to the search results. So
yeah,
I thought it was pretty cool.
No, I think that's really cool. And I think, again, just another thing that they're adding, we wanted to share it here because that was in the report. I think, again, thinking along the lines of, like, how does someone want to do business with you? And if you have one of these things, it's just going to bump up your conversion just a little bit more. And what happens when we bump up conversions, we get a sale. It means that then we're going to start to get that flywheel going that we've talked about before, where you get a sale, you get another review, that spikes your sales. Then Etsy goes, oh, it must be selling. We should probably show it more. And then it all just kind of starts to snowball. So that's what those conversion things are there for. And it's really, really cool. All right. That's number 6. Number 7, what we're doing to inspire shoppers to make a purchase. All right, let's dig in here. Over the past year, we've also invested in programs and platforms improvements to give shoppers the details they're looking for when browsing on Etsy, helping shoppers feel more confident about their purchase. All right. Again, another conversion piece here, another thing that will help get the sale made. All right. So in the past year, we've introduced 2 new ways shoppers can learn more about the shop or item they're browsing so they can feel more confident making a purchase. Video reviews. Buyers who purchase an item can upload a video to their review. Those reviews give potential customers more info about an item, like details that might not be obvious in photos. All that extra info can give shoppers the confidence boost they need to make a purchase. So that's video reviews. That's there now or coming out, which it might be there, but maybe not everyone is able to do it. But I think all shoppers can now do that. So that's really cool. The other one here is your star seller badge. They've made some updates to that. They're giving you more clout, I guess the right word. And what that is it's going to, number one, let your customer feel, I guess, safer, more confident that they're going to get what you say because you've got that badge. Everyone knows that those badges, they mean something. And you might say, well, it's just a badge. No, it shows one more notch that you are a trusted seller on Etsy because there's proof of it and there's 3 different metrics there. But basically having a star seller badge lets shoppers know you have a track record of offering exceptional customer service. You can earn buyer facing badges for speedy replies, smooth shipping, and rave reviews. Earn all 3 and you get your star seller badge. Okay. So to some people, it's like, yeah, so what? Again, it's another conversion piece. It's another piece for people to feel safe that they're purchasing from a seller that has done well with other buyers, right? So that's what I want to leave you guys with that on that one for my thoughts. I think it's great. Debbie, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, the video reviews, I think that just puts work on the customer. They're probably not going to do it. I've had one and, the poor lady didn't really even know how to use the camera. So the item was upside down and whatnot. But, I think it could be great if the customer is willing to do it. Star seller badge. I know there's a lot of pros and cons that people, get a little frustrated about with it. I've had it. I really don't know how many customers notice it. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't work towards having it because it definitely does show your, store that you're doing all the right things. You're selling, you're taking care of your customers, you're getting things out on time. I hope that most customers are noticing it, but I really don't know if they are. So
okay, so here would be my other side of this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's pretend like no one sees it. Does that give our store and our shop and our reputation more clout that where Etsy will want to push us more or give us more ranking power? Like,
Right.
Do you think that any of that could play in there?
Yes, and I think that's what it's more for. The customer might not notice, but Etsy's noticing. So they might, bump us up a bit. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. And
I've
again,
had it and, my store has sustained. I don't know if it would be doing less without it. I can't say.
right. And so if we also said, well, what if someone came in, they're going to compete with you. They don't have it. You have it. You launch new products. You're probably going to see a better ranking factor. You are versus
Yes.
the one that doesn't, because
Yeah.
I believe that in their algorithm, there's probably something there that says, do they have a star badge? They do. Good.
Mhm.
If they don't, okay. Like there's
Yeah.
probably something there. Can't
Yeah.
prove it, but
No, but that's a valid point. That's good. That's a good way to look
Yeah.
at it.
All that little one said they have said that it doesn't affect visibility, and it might not affect visibility directly. Meaning, if we have, we both launch the same product, Debbie, you and I have the star seller badge and you don't, right? We write the same exact listing, have the same exact photos. They're still gonna rely on all of the other factors. But here's the deal: even if people don't know what it means, right? And I guarantee you, 99.9% of people buying on Etsy have no idea what a star seller is, or that it
Right.
means that you reply to your messages and ship on time, right? It does still show up in that organic search results, right? And so that is going to be a factor that if I have one and you don't, it's going to drive more people to click on me just because mine stands out and mine looks different. That click through, right, means I get a visit, which is a positive sign. It also means that I have the potential of getting that sale, which is obviously a positive sign. So if you qualify for the Star Seller badge, which really isn't that hard if you've been selling on Etsy, the biggest thing that I think people struggle with is the responding to messages quickly. And there's a lot of ways around that, like an autoresponder, to say, hey, we'll get to your stuff as fast as we can, right? There's no reason that you shouldn't be going after it if you make the minimum qualifications.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I just think it's a no-brainer to just get that, because number one, could it convert higher if you have it? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Can it get you ranked a little bit better? Maybe, maybe not, but why not? They're putting it there for a reason. It's not there just to say, oh, it's, something new. Like, let's actually use this. Mm-hmm. And they do have some things that they've talked about within that they're going, like, you're going to get better support. So you're going to be able to call in or message into Etsy and get support, when before it's always been a task.
Which is true. I've had to. And, a lot of sellers too, and I can understand, they feel like, well, they're sellers too, just as important as the Star Seller, and everyone should get the same treatment. But like you said, this is what Etsy's doing, and we're on their playground, and it's their rules and their new tests. So we just, have to go with it.
Yep.
And do our best to achieve those things. Like Chris said, it's really not that difficult. I have the app on my phone. So anytime I have a message from a customer, I can hear the little notification. And my customers honestly don't wait longer than 2 minutes. They're like, were you just sitting by the phone waiting for me? I'm like, no, I just happen to, hear the little ding-a-ling. So
yeah, no, I think it's important. They're giving us the tools to do it, but it's really important that you utilize them.
Yes.
And it's like, why not use it, right? It just means that you're a good seller. Right. And it will take a little bit if you're new, because you have to have a certain number of messages before they can give you a rating and all of those things, reviews, all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. So, but when you have a chance to get it, why not? And they are definitely, it says, right here that they're definitely going to be adding some new things there for those people that have it. But then also the video reviews here, they're saying, like, for customers, that's going to be another thing they're rolling out that they think is going to help. We'll see, right? But it is a cool little feature. All right.
Right.
Have you guys used video yet? I'm just curious, not in a video review, but have you added video in your pictures? And the reason why I'm putting it here is because that is something you have control over. And if you do put a video inside of one of your pictures, in the second, I think it goes in the second slot anyway. One little cool thing that I realized was, like, if people are hovering, it starts to play. Mm-hmm. So, and one little hack here that I'll give you guys that I've done, which I've kind of fallen a little bit behind because I'm busy and my wife's pumping out a whole bunch of products, is you're just doing a close-up. It could be a slideshow of the product shown on different people or shown in different rooms. And then you just build a little slideshow showing it. It doesn't have to be you with the product necessarily. So that's another thing to get attention when people are scrolling, because that video is going to automatically play in the very beginning. So one little tip there for you guys if you're not doing that yet. So have you used video yet in your listings? I'm curious. Drop them in the comments and let us know. We'd like to see that. All right. Moving through, number 8, letting shoppers know they can get help if something goes wrong. Another thing we're like, okay, great. That's for the customer. Who really cares? Well, it does matter. It matters a lot here, because they want to make sure that they are taken care of. They are always going to be treated the best because they want people to keep coming back on the platform. But the one thing that I noticed here that they're going to be doing, this is really cool. This is what they call it, and they recently introduced it. It's called Etsy Purchase Protection. Okay. Now I'm just going to kind of skip through here. It says, we've heard from buyers that trust us. An important factor that drives their decision-making is basically having protection. Well, guess what? Etsy will refund the buyers and you'll keep your earnings. Wait a minute. What? So basically they're going to be able to get our product. And Debbie, am I hearing this correctly? That they're going to buy, if someone wants a refund on the product, and it says up to $250, right? That if they're not happy, and again, there's probably going to have to be some stuff that's like, well, it can't just be like, you send them a wrong size or something like that. There's probably some criteria, but they're going to give them a refund and not take it out of our pocket. What's your thoughts on that one, Deb?
Well, I mean, that part is great. I just hope that, which I do see in a lot of groups, unfortunately, you're going to get customers that are just going to say they're unhappy. They see now that you have the seller protection and they may abuse the system. And I hate to say that, but it may happen. And I guess Etsy in the end will have to figure out, was this worth it? Did we see an increase in people complaining? And, were we refunding more than we normally have in the past since we introduced this? So, yeah, I'm happy it won't cost us anything. I just hope it's not a system that is abused by the customers.
And that's probably where they're going to have to put parameters in there, right?
Mhm.
And the other thing is if they see that someone's doing it on one particular seller, then there's probably going to be a red flag that there's something wrong with that product, right?
Mhm.
If
True.
everyone's saying it, then Etsy's going to contact you and go, hey,
Right.
we've had like 3 refunds on this in the last week.
Right.
That's unusual. So I agree with you. There's always going to be someone trying to game the system, right? But they're also trying to look at it like, we're trying to do a volume game here. I mean, we've
Mhm.
done it. Like we've sold, and we still do. We have courses that we sell, right?
Mhm.
And we offer 100% money
Mhm.
back guarantee. You can go through it for 30 days, right? And honestly, like most people are honest people, but you're
Right.
going to have those few that are like, I'm just going to go through it for 29 days and I'm just going to ask for a refund.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn.
Well,
But
it's
you don't-
trust in buying too. I think if someone
It
is
is.
spending a good chunk of money, they can feel confident. Well, just in case, I know Etsy will, back me up. So
Yep. It's
Yeah.
it's another measure for people to feel safe when they're
Yes.
actually buying.
yes,
What they're really
is
trying to
good.
replicate is the PayPal kind of stuff from eBay, right? Like the thing that made eBay really take off is when PayPal instituted their buyer protections. Now, this program, at least the way that it's written, is much more protective of both parties than the PayPal protections ever were, right? Like basically you could get a refund for any reason you wanted if you purchase something through PayPal, and you still can. Right
Mhm.
here, as long as you ship on time, you ship the correct item, and you have an accurate description, you are essentially protected under this program, at least the way that it's written.
Mhm.
The only way that this can really come back on buyers is, Debbie, what you just said, right? If this just gets abused, or if the item does not ever arrive, and how they will track that, I don't know, right? Because if you're using signature verification or signature on delivery and somebody signs for it, is it your responsibility that, like, are they going to give us the opportunity to say, hey, someone signed for it, right?
Mhm.
That we don't know. And then if it arrives damaged, so basically it's on you to pick a shipping option that is going to guarantee that it gets there and it gets to the right person in one piece. Outside of that, as long as you're selling and shipping the item that's being described and being purchased, you are going to be protected as the seller, which is
Yes.
fantastic.
Yes.
Yep. Cool.
True.
Awesome. All right. Let's move on. We've got another one here. And that is giving shoppers easier ways to pay. All right. So this is really interesting because they are, again, another thing they're trying to do is make it super easy for people to pay. Now, we've seen this on Amazon. We've seen it on eBay. We've seen it with PayPal and all of those things, just trying to make it where, like, oh, you want to break this up into payments? Oh, we can do that. Or, oh, do you want to use PayPal and not use your credit card? Okay, we can do that. Like finding more ways for people to pay to make it easier is always going to be a good thing. But let's dig in here a little bit further because there's something else here that I have that says this is huge, which is big. But by expanding Etsy payments, we give Etsy shoppers more ways to pay without changing anything about your seller workflow. So once again, you have to remember, and I always try to bring this up, like when you're selling on a platform, they're doing all of the heavy lifting. They're your merchant account. They're your traffic source. Like they're everything in a box, right? And so when they add another partner that will accept a payment, you didn't do a thing other than just say, thank you for doing that. But then a lot of people will complain because they're paying too much in commissions for Etsy and all of that stuff. But you got to look at what they're giving you, right? And they're making it super easy. But the other thing I wanted to kind of point out here, let me just read this part here. It says, in the past few years, we've added tons of new payment options for buyers, helping build trust in Etsy and provide seamless shopping experience. We've launched Klarna Pay over time, options for buyers in the United States and United Kingdom, Germany, Australia, and Spain. This year, we expanded into Canada, Austria, the Netherlands, Sweden, Switzerland, Denmark, all over the place, right? But here's the cool part. Our expansion into partner checkout with Google also means that shoppers have more free ways to find and purchase your listings outside of Etsy as well. Chris, what does that mean? Because I know you're the Google guy, right? You're
this
the Google
this
ads
comes
guy
back to something I was talking about when we were talking about the app side of this, right? And how it's going to make checkout easier. And so basically, if you're on an Android device, if you're in Google Chrome, and even if you're on an iOS device, most people are still using Google Chrome. It's going to make paying even easier. And Scott, where I really think this part of this comes from, you may remember, and for those of you guys who have been around the e-commerce world for years now, when Shopify rolled out Shop Pay, which this very much reminds me of the Shopify Shop Pay program, right? Basically, any Shopify website that you go to, once you've made one payment there, as long as they're using Shopify as their payment processor, you can essentially check out with the existing information, right? I made the mistake of the first time after they rolled that out using I sent my brother a Christmas gift or something from a Shopify website. Now I have to change the address every time I go in. But what actually happened with that is not only did they increase the speed to checkout by 4 times, right? Making it easier for people to buy, but the people who were taking advantage of that, and I think the most recent data out of Shopify is like 1.72, right? So essentially people are 2 times more likely to purchase from a shop that's using them, right? And so what Etsy's trying to do is make the checkout, which is notoriously in e-commerce, right? Whether you're selling on your own site or selling on a platform, the hardest, most pain in the butt side of this. They're trying to make this as easy as possible. And by rolling out Etsy payments, it means that you don't always have to enter your credit card info. You're not always going to have to enter the shipping information. You're not always going to have to do that. It speeds that up for the customer, which means they're more likely to purchase because there's less time for their cat to spill milk on the keyboard or for their kid to walk in and, distract them or whatever it is. And so that means they can reduce the number of abandoned carts, increase the number of purchases, which is what Etsy should be focused on. And this is something you touched on at the beginning, right? Etsy, yes, they charge us 20 cents to create a listing, but that's not where they make their money. They make their money when they make sales. And this is designed to increase conversions, which will increase sales, which increases the amount of money that Etsy makes. But it also makes the process easier for customers, which is good for people who are selling on the platform.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love everything about that. Anything you want to say on that one, Deb?
Yeah, I mean, anything to make the customer experience easier, then that's what I'm all about. And I love Klarna because Klarna reminds me of an updated version of Layaway. Remember the stores used to have Layaway?
Oh yeah.
So
my mom used to do that all the time for
all
Christmas
the time. And you know what? I'm sure people do take advantage of Klarna. And it's a great way to be able to, buy something you want and you don't have all the money up front, but you can make that small little payment each month and you're happy. You have it. So
yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Debbie, for the people who don't know what Klarna is, can you explain that really quick?
I have no idea. Like all I know is Klarna is it must be a credit card that Etsy offers the customer, and they just, I'll have to ask my son because to be honest with you, he just bought something off of Klarna because I saw the bill and I'm like, what did you buy? He said, oh, I bought a pair of old Wrangler jeans off of Etsy. I'm like, okay. Wow. And he used the Klarna plan. So I can't really explain it, what it is, but I'm assuming it's some kind of like shop credit card.
Got it.
Yeah, it's a buy now, pay later plan. You'll see this a lot of times inside of higher end e-commerce stores. So if you're going to buy a TV, right, or you're going to buy a massage table or something like that, right? You're going to buy your jacuzzi on Wayfair. You'll see Affirm or Klarna pop up, and they do run a credit check. And people generally aren't going to use this for a $20 t-shirt, right? But you will see them using it for a couple $100. And if you have those products in your store, it just means that you're more likely to sell them.
Right.
I do believe that they run a hard credit check on the buyer, so it would actually show up on their credit report. But again, that's on the customer side. You don't have to do anything. It's already integrated with the Etsy checkout. And so if you are selling higher end items, and Scott, you brought up somebody that we have as a private client, right? And she occasionally will sell several $1,000s at a time. That transaction in the past would not have happened on the Etsy platform. They likely would have tried to find her contact information, right? Called her, Googled around to see if they could find her online store, to see if she had an Affirm option, right? Or a Klarna option on her own store. Etsy has rolled that in now so that if you are making those higher dollar sales, that somebody can get access to those directly inside the platform. And basically it just pops up. It asks for some basic information from the buyer. They fill it out and they get an instant credit limit. And then they're able to process the purchase.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just actually reading up on Klarna real quick. It says Klarna doesn't set a minimum credit score to qualify for financing. Actually, it is possible to get credit with no prior history. If you choose to for interest-free payment installment payments, the company may conduct a soft credit pull. This does not hurt your credit score. So it is a little different.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great.
Yep.
Okay.
And I know they typically just require that somebody attaches like a debit card to it for smaller purchases, and in some cases, or your checking account, right? Depending on
oh yeah, there's got to be some type of collateral, right?
Right.
And basically that's how they get around having to set a minimum credit score, right? Yep. Because they say, hey, we're going to just direct debit your checking account in 4 even payments, and if you're cool with that, we'll put the money up front. There's no interest. We'll just make sure that you pay us back by direct debiting your checking account.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, cool. Let's move on. We're going to wrap this up here. I've got a few other things that I wanted to discuss, but basically that's the number 9th little thing that they came out with, which is pretty cool, which is giving shoppers easier ways to pay, which is going to increase conversions. And that is basically more sales for us, right, on our thing. So what's next? Right. With all of this information, I always like to distill things down and kind of chunk things down. So really, it's pretty simple. Focus on creating more products that Etsy shoppers will find and buy from your shop, right? Like, right? Like, just keep doing that, right? Create more products that your niche is going to potentially be interested in, and just keep adding them to your shop, right? The second thing is use the Etsy tools, right? Create sale items, emails, like use their email systems, use the star badges, like all of the things that we just discussed, like use that, leverage those tools, and any other features that they make available to us, like use the tools. Okay. And then a little bonus tip here is focus on serving a niche and create multiple products that your customer would buy. Okay. That's a big one. I don't hear anybody talking about that. That wasn't a tip in this little guide here, right? But that's our tip, because we see so many people, and I've seen this for years, and just even when people are selling in the Amazon space or even just e-commerce in general, they just want to kind of do this buckshot approach. And I know, Debbie, you call it the garage sale approach. It's basically like you're just trying to sell anything to anyone, and it makes it really hard, because what we want repeat customers. We want someone to buy one thing and maybe add 2 more to their cart. Like, we want to do the work so we can lead someone into the store. And then when they're in there, they're like, I'm in the spot that I wanted to be, right? Like, I'm looking for, this particular thing. I'm into bass fishing. I just walked into a Bass Pro Shop, right? Like, that's what I want.
You want
if I'm in
people
there
to
and I'm going to
remember you. You want people to remember you. It's just
exactly.
that simple.
Exactly. And it just makes the process bigger. I mean, we've talked about this for years. That's why our company is called Brand Creators, because it's all about building a brand, whether it's a brand that's starting out on Etsy and you want to move it off of Etsy, or to have both, like have a Shopify. And I know, Debbie, you do, and we do. It's like, we're big fans of that. But no matter where you are, you want to think through the process, like with your customer. Like, do you want that customer to come in and buy a t-shirt about bass fishing, but you sell t-shirts on, I don't know, bowling and, other things that don't interest that bass fisherman? Mm-hmm. No, we want to cater to that one, so we can increase the value of that cart and have that person keep coming back, and get in, get those things that they're interested in. So that's a big one. I just really, really just wanted to kind of hammer that point home. All right. And then the last thing is subscribe to this channel if you've got any value, and smash that like button. I've been on a tear lately with creating videos, And you can see some of them right here, but if you go to the channel, you'll see them. I've actually created an Etsy selling tips playlist. You can go there. I actually kicked this thing off talking about my wife's Etsy shop and how I'm getting involved now and how I'm using email marketing outside of that and all of that. So everything is there. But if you are wanting to grow and scale your Etsy shop, I'm not just the only one that's teaching it here. I mean, Debbie is going to be here helping as well. She is more seasoned than we are, but we're learning and we're able to pick her brain. So if whatever we're doing, we're in the trenches. We're doing it. I've never been one of those that wants to teach something that I haven't done, and we're actively doing it and we're actively growing it. And actually, a little update this morning. Actually, I pulled a report from my wife, and Debbie, I don't even think I told you yet.
Mhm.
Last year, her report was $1,350 for the month of October.
Mhm.
This year, we did $7,000.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Isn't
okay,
that
guys.
awesome?
So
Yeah,
it's awesome, right? So you got to start somewhere,
that's
and
right.
it's going to take some time to build some momentum and things.
Mhm.
But honestly, if you're watching this in November of 2022, like it is a great time to start, because when
Yeah.
she started, it was 2020
Right,
and it was November.
right,
And that's when she kicked it off. And she had like, I think her first month, it wasn't even a full month. It was like 2 weeks in
right.
November, just getting started, and
Yes.
did like 6 sales. But then in
Uh-huh.
December, did almost $2,000.
Right.
Right. So it's a great time right now.
That's
Now, if you're
fantastic for a newbie seller.
and
Absolutely.
if you're watching this after the fact and it's in July, it's still a great time to start. Like, just,
right.
you got to start
You
sometime.
got to start
somewhere.
today. Just
Yeah.
like you always say, Scott, take action.
Yep. You got to do it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I want you to do is in the comments, leave this right here. What are you most excited about right now with what we just shared with you, with these updates, right? What are you most excited about so you can go and implement these and really start to grow and scale your Etsy shop? So definitely drop them in the comments. We'd love to see that. And I think we've got a couple of minutes. We can probably answer some questions. I think, Chris, there was some questions in there. Did you want to answer any of those?
We do. We have a handful. We got most of them in the chat, but I'm going to scroll through and see if there's anything that needs to be kind of answered more broadly. But I want to pose that question to you and to Debbie as well, Scott. Out of all of these announcements, now that you've had a few days to look at this and think about it, if you had to pick one thing that had you the most excited, what would that one thing out of those 9 cool things and one meh thing? What would that one thing be for you? And then Debbie, I'd like to hear your thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're all good. But I think the one that I am probably most excited about and ready to kind of tear into it is really just leveraging the heck out of having sales. Because I know that they're going to be pushed. I'm excited about the Etsy app because the Etsy app is going to show my sale when someone favorites my item, right? So that stuff's already been there, but now it sounds like they're going to actually make it even more aware to the person that touched it, right? That favorited it, that visited the shop. So I think that's the stuff that I'm most excited about because I know that that converts to a sale. Like when we're able to kind of touch those points like over and over and over again and being in that feed, that one there really, really excites me the most. Debbie, what do you think? What's yours?
I'm actually surprised this one wasn't yours, but I'm excited that Etsy is going to be sending out emails because can you believe you didn't say that one? Because I think eventually people are just going to cave. They're like, all right, I've seen this email. I'm going on Etsy. And I'm excited about the video. I think I'm going to work on doing a video. I also wanted to say this before. You don't have to even show yourself on the video.
No.
Like, not at all.
No.
Just show your product, your hands touching it, placed on a chair, whatever you want. If you feel, oh, I can't do a video, I don't like doing videos, just do, the best you can with focusing on your product or products or, the way it could be staged. You can even do a video that's like a slideshow. I think that would count as a video, right, Chris? Like if you just want to take still life pictures and maybe
100%.
in a slideshow. So
100%.
I think that's the thing that holds a lot of people back. One of the questions I saw a few times was, hey, if I'm selling print on demand, how do I do the video thing? Right? Like, how do we take advantage of Explore? And there's a few different platforms out there that will actually allow you to make video of print on demand products. Right. And I don't know if this is built into Printful or Printify, but I think it was like Micromercial or something like that a few years ago ran a huge Facebook campaign for print on demand sellers on Shopify that was like, hey, product video is the thing. And basically you would find kind of like a generic stock footage video of like a dude in a white t-shirt, right? And then they would put your print on demand t-shirt thing directly over that so that you could have video. I think that's really cool. I think the biggest takeaway that I had from this isn't one of the specific points. And if I have to pick one, it would probably be some of the stuff they're doing with the external traffic and some of those kinds of things. But the biggest thing that I got out of this is that Etsy does actually care about their sellers. And as much as we like to complain about the percentage that we pay to them, because it a lot of times can feel like they're not really doing anything, right? And in some cases, it can even feel like they're against us, right? Because we did everything we could to fulfill an order. We did everything we could. We shipped the product out and somebody just didn't like it. And they side with the customer, even though the customer isn't right, at least in our minds. What they are doing, and it's different from the way that any other platform has approached this, is they are giving sellers more and more opportunities to grow their businesses inside of the platform. They are trying to keep you there because they know that you can go create your own Shopify store. You can learn all of the external traffic stuff. You can go do that. And so what they're doing, what they are focused on, is creating more conversions for Etsy sellers on Etsy. And that's what all of those 10 points were really all about, making sure that you know that the things that they are doing are designed to drive more purchases on Etsy, and ideally from your store. They're giving you more ability to talk to your customers. They're driving more traffic. They are allowing you to contact people in more ways. They're trying to create that little network inside of Etsy where you follow shops and get updates from the people that you like, right? All of these things are designed to help drive more conversions on the platform. And I think for Etsy sellers, this should be a little bit of a sigh of relief, because we had fee changes earlier in the year. We had all of these things and it felt like it wasn't really changing at all. And now they're finally saying, hey, here's all the things we've been working on in the background, and here's how it's going to impact you. And so if you are selling on the platform, make sure you're taking advantage of these things, whether it's letting Etsy run some offsite ads, whether it's setting up a store-wide sale to take advantage of whatever their next event is, whether it's going in and setting up your abandoned cart emails from the first time, whatever that is, make sure you're taking advantage of these features, because they are all designed to drive you more sales. Going back to the video thing really fast, we had a couple people ask, and Debbie, I think you made this point. You said, doing video reviews is kind of a pain in the butt. But I think we can all kind of agree that if we can find a way to incentivize our customers to do it, that it's probably going to have an outsized return for us, right? Because inside of Etsy, unlike a lot of other platforms, like Amazon kind of explicitly says that reviews don't impact search. But on Etsy, they've literally said that they can, and that they do. And so if they're rolling out a new kind of review that's harder even to do, common sense would dictate that that would have a little bit of an outsized return in terms of the investment. So I wanted to run something by you guys. I know it's kind of a pain in the butt, but in our follow-up email or in our purchase email, is there a way for us to reach out to that person and give them a discount if they leave an honest video review?
I was just thinking that, Chris. I almost wonder if we have the option to thank you. You're leaving your discount code. If we can mention, we would love to see a video review of, the flag in your yard for Christmas, or I don't know if we can incentivize them. Is that, by saying, for an extra 10% off or next time? I don't know how that can work, but I would love to mention it to my customers as well, to say I would, love to see, like I said, the example of the flag in your yard.
That's a tough one. I think that's a tough one.
Outside of the platform, right? If you're doing some of the things like capturing emails inside of Aweber and then remarketing to those people, we'd have to do a little bit of manual work to go back in and say, okay, we know that Susie bought this design. So, hey, Susie, do you mind leaving a review? And obviously we don't want to say, right, just like on any other platform, we wouldn't want to say, leave us 5 stars,
No.
right? But hey, if you can take a minute, I know it's kind of a pain in the butt. Here's the process that you would have to go through, shoot the video, click this button in the app and upload it, right? Then just take a screenshot and send it to me and we'll send you, 15% off. That would be something that's interesting. I'm sure there's a way to make this work. I'm just trying to think through that because I have a feeling that because it is such a pain in the butt, that if we can figure out a way to do it, that it would lead to some of the outsized returns in terms of being found by the other customers. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think great.
I think it's worth investigating for sure.
We could maybe brainstorm that and think of a way, because obviously we want to do it within terms of service and make sure it's okay. So I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, is it as simple as in that thank you message, giving them the instructions on how to do it, and then just going back and looking?
Right. If they're going to read the instructions.
But if they don't, they don't, right? But
they don't
that may give you that.
We know they don't read descriptions, so I doubt they're going to read instructions. Here, do a video, and this is how to.
We'd have to play with it. We'd have to. I did have something I wanted to bring up here. Looks like, let's see here. Yeah. I'm implementing your 30-day product blitz idea to make some extra money in Q4. It's a must-watch video. Guys, that's in the playlist. Go check it out.
Cool.
And that 30-day little product blitz, my wife did that, and I showed in that video like the results. It was literally an experiment, and it worked pretty good. It actually brought in more sales on other products. It's kind of like that. You also get more, like we've always said this, and Debbie, you agree with this. It's like you have all of these seeds that you've planted out there, bring someone in the store. When someone's in the store, if we are niche specific, then they have a chance to buy other things. And we did notice that. Well,
Scott, we used to compare it to being at the checkout line.
Yes.
And be at the end caps.
Yep.
You see some and you throw it in your cart. Yep. So if you're on your shop, and especially a niche shop, you're going to add more. People love accessorizing and bringing everything fully together, like kind of matchy in a sense, if that makes sense to you guys.
100%. I mean, and we've seen it, you've seen it, when you have something that's on target, as far as like what someone's coming in there for, they're going to leave, not always, but they have a chance to leave with more than what they intended on coming.
Most all my customers buy multiples, not just one.
Yeah. Yeah. So. And someone did bring up too about videos, creating videos for your listing. They're easy to do in Canva. And it's actually, that's what I used to do that video for my wife's listings. Yeah. So
so I say we all work on that and make our little Canva videos and get them out there before the holiday. Start showcasing your Christmas goodies.
Yep. All right, cool. Any other quick questions, Chris, before we wrap up? I think that was about it. We had a good attendance here. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Nice
and if you guys have any other questions, drop them in the comments, and we'll scroll through them. And who knows, maybe we'll do another update with maybe some of the findings that we have heard from maybe people that watch this video. That's why we want you guys to share this as far as like liking it, because that'll help YouTube push it out to other people that are interested in Etsy selling, and we can help those people. And who knows, maybe they're going to share something with us that we can share with you guys, which would be absolutely amazing. So is that it? We all good, guys? We ready to rock on out of here?
I think we're good to go.
I think we're good to go. Well, all right, guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We truly appreciated it. Do me a favor, though. If you want more tips like this, subscribe to the channel. You're going to see more of these. We'll probably do more lives like this. We'll have Debbie back on. We'll have Chris back on, and we'll be able to dive in more and further. And anything that we're doing, I'm doing 2 videos a week right now from us working inside of our own business and in sharing. And we're going to be publishing those on this channel. So make sure you subscribe for all of those updates. Guys, take care, take action, have an awesome, amazing day, and we'll see you next time. Good luck out there, and keep Etsy shopping or selling. We'll see you shopping too.
See you guys later.